Hey there, everyone. I think I might be upside down. Oh, no. It gave me... Let's try this. Yeah, I'm upside down. Good to see you. Let's see if I can just manually fix it then. Okay. All right, that gives me... There we are. We'll take down the reference photo. So glad to have you on the live stream tonight. My name is Steve. If you are new to the live stream, this is just very simple, very laid back live stream. It's pop in, pop out, so kind of really an open house type setting. I'm a little out of sorts. Last week, I guess the last 2 Mondays have been the hottest days of the summer, or some of the hottest days of the summer here in the mountains. And last week I couldn't get my technology to work. It got overheated and kept crashing. So hopefully this will last a little. Oh, I started with right side up. Oh, cool. Hey, Joanna and Lola, so good to have you. Thanks for stopping in, everybody. Okay, so yeah, I'm getting kind of set. So far, so good with the technology. If it crashes in the middle of this thing, it's because it's about 95 or probably 95 or 97 degrees here in my attic studio. I'm up in the attic, and I don't have any air conditioning in my apartment. So I have a fan up there, a fan down here, a fan to the side. So if you hear background noise, all the fans are running to try to keep it going this evening. So glad to have you. All right, so in the studio the last few weeks I've been trying to complete some of the pile of paintings that are sitting here half completed. So this week you may have seen on Instagram that I completed the pears that we started several months ago. Finally, it's not perfect, it's not totally where I want it, but it was as good as my skill currently is. So we got the pears done, which it's a beautiful painting. I also completed this one that we had started last fall, I think, or maybe even earlier, of Spearfish Canyon, which is right here close to my house. And so this is a photo, a reference from the path to Spearfish Falls in the canyon. And this was in the fall, and so I finished that painting as well. So it's good to have these two done. And then I also completed this little one, which we had started probably well over a year ago. That was the yellow flowers in a field with mountains in the background. So that's what I've been working on in the studio. Somebody said, "Oh, you're so prolific." I said, "No, it's just that these have all piled up and they're more than halfway done. So it's easier to get them done as they come in." So tonight we're going to try something I have never done on the live stream before, and that is the painting of a human being. So let me put up, as you may have seen earlier, my reference photo. This beautiful little girl smelling a wild flower. Now, last time on the live stream, we did this painting of the puppy, if you remember that. So the goal with this painting was to use looser brush strokes and to focus on really doing more of a painterly style, more loose brush strokes, more undefined edges. If I hold this up, you can kind of see the result of that. And I really like this style. I want to continue to explore this style. It's a lot less photorealist. It's clearly a painting, and it's clearly an artist's representation of the puppy. So that's kind of what I want to explore now with this reference photo of the little girl as well. So that's what we'll be working on this evening. So how did the puppy turn out? Yeah, that's how the puppy turned out. Turned out really cute. You may, if you don't follow me on Instagram, you can follow there. I usually post process photos as we go. They're on Instagram. That's the place to see, especially when I finish paintings. I'll post usually the finished one and then several process photos so you can kind of see how a painting came together. All right, let me switch views so that I can turn you all over to, or this camera over to the canvas. If you'll bear with me just a moment, we'll get that set up so that you can see my canvas. Let me flip this around. All right, I think we are set. You will be able to see the canvas pretty well here. So, and I'll get set up with my seat here, so I'll have a little more. I was going to make a smoothie this afternoon because it's so hot, which I had done last week, but then everything crashed. So far, we're keeping up with the heat. Whoops. There's the canvas, and we'll add that in the corner so you can see my palette as I am painting. All right. Welcome, welcome to those of you that have just come in. We're going to try to keep this road show going with all the fans running and all the stuff. So, let's see. All right, we'll do, the first thing we need to do is I want to kind of start to, I hadn't given a lot of thought to the I hadn't given a lot of thought to this one, so like the background. So I think I'm going to just start to draw in a rough drawing of this, the composition. So to do that, I'm going to put, let me turn this around. I have some browns. I'm not using the normal burnt umber that I use typically because I want to keep this fairly light since, whoa, both the little girls, like her and her dress are very bright. She's blonde-headed, so I want to kind of just begin to draw this in. So I'm going to take my large brush. This is kind of probably a 1-inch brush because we want just really loose strokes again. I don't want to get a lot of, we'll just start mixing this. So we want to put like, I want to start to put I'm just doing rough, and we'll probably adjust this as we go. Yeah, I'm already adjusting. So this is kind of where shoulder's going to be. So we'll do that. We'll see how this comes out. Okay, we get the rough very rough sketch of the child. And I think my drawing's off a little bit, but my paint's drying so very fast. All right, so very quickly, we want to turn this into shadows and light. So, let's see. The sun is shining right at her, so the darkest shadows I see are over here on her, on this side of her, and we can recess that into the background even more and give so that the focal point is right there at her face with the flowers. So I'm going to take a little blue and brown, and I'll need some white. I have not painted flesh tones before, so this will be a new experience for me to try, or very rarely. So we'll try to figure out, and I haven't studied a lot of like flesh tones, how to make them. There are palettes that different people use just for flesh tones. Okay. I'm creating a shadow tone that's a mid-tone. It's not super dark over here to kind of put in some of these shadows. And it's more of a blue tone. It looks really purple. And this is intentional because I want to begin drawing in some of these shadows. There's not a whole lot more shadows, maybe some in the hair. We'll just build up layers, maybe a little bit in her hands. We won't put a lot of definition in her hands. I started to say I'm using more of a blue-purple shade because it's complementary to the yellow. So we'll do that. All right. Then we'll quickly start brightening that up with some brown, but still shadow. Start slowly coming towards our And I'm really experimenting with this because I don't really know how to do this. Paint this way. So, hi there, Mom and Dad. Trying something totally new tonight. Haven't ever really done a person, but I thought this little girl was just too cute not to try to do. And all of this will become kind of an underwash for what's on top. So we'll just keep making little adjustments as we go tonight. That's the main thing, is how do we make little adjustments to try to figure this out. Notice I'm using the direction of my brush strokes to try to create form. And we'll see how that helps us, if it does. This cutie is actually someone I don't know. It was in my Facebook group. Somebody posted, it was just in my Facebook reference photo group. So I don't know, it may have been somebody's granddaughter, or I'm honestly not sure. I just hope I can somehow figure it out. Just little by little, trying to do like we did last week to keep it really loose until really the very end, where we'll add just a few details, because it's just really hard to keep, I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's hard to keep a loose brush stroke over a long, over painting, and keep it like so it looks the way it's supposed to. We'll have to do plenty of layers of this. Yellow is just a very difficult, which is the first big mistake I'm noticing I made, because yellow is so translucent, at least the yellow I have, that it won't cut through, or it won't cover the dark underneath. So we may end up having a little girl who's not quite in a yellow dress, but more of a tan yellow dress, but we'll see how it goes. I'm mixing some white in because that's less translucent, and it's almost like building primer in. You're absolutely right, Lola, especially because of the way I started, which was very much the, I want to point out though, adding a little bit of white, obviously I made a big mistake, but adding a little bit of white to this yellow, notice how better that's covering. So you try something, you make a mistake, and you learn. But yes, Lola, I think especially because I started trying to be as photorealistic as possible, now stepping back and keeping things loose, I mean, I'm literally having to fight mentally for reaching for a smaller brush. But I'm like, no, keep going almost to the very end as much as possible, because there's so much you can communicate with loose brush strokes that you don't think you can until you actually do it. So yeah, it's really now what I will do, because she is, this part of her I want in the shadows kind of, and it is in the thing, is I'm going to mix just a very little bit of blue so we get almost a green yellow on the back side of her dress. And that's going to give us, again, it's going to read as the same, like a yellow dress, but then it's going to look like shadow over here. Notice how just adding a little bit of blue then puts the, and turning it green, puts this in shadow and this in light. So yeah, it's those little things. Learn a little bit as we go, which is the most important part of the process, right? Okay, let me, I'm gonna, what can I do? Like I think I want a crimson, a little bit of crimson. I'm just gonna put a little red, just a dot of red into this. So that's when we'll get a little more of a peachy, hopefully more of a authentic skin tone. But I'm diluting this with a lot of white, so we get closer and closer to skin tones. And we'll do the same, that white, tad of red, and then, oh, not that yellow, whoops. Well, we can use it because she does have some tan. So we'll do that. Ooh, I'm in that place where I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing and I don't know what to do next. And it's 500 degrees up here. Not really, but it's toasty. It is toasty, y'all. Toasty, toasty. Okay, now what I want to try to do is go back in and refine her a little bit. It's hard too because I'm applying the paint. It's hard also because I'm applying the paint as the color I want, but then the acrylic dries darker. The acrylic paints dry darker, and so you get the right balance. And so much of this, especially in this case, is getting the tones correct in her skin. You do, and then it dries kind of that orange brown, which is not what I want, but that's okay. We'll just keep applying it, and it's gonna, different levels of this painting will show through, or different levels of the, and so it'll turn out, hopefully, at least that's the intent. Let's see if we can go in and put like some my brush is literally splitting on me, and I don't know why. So I'm getting double. I have to switch to a different brush. We shall see. Yeah, see, my brush is splitting. I don't know if it's the humidity or what, or just the brush, but it's like literally splitting down the middle, which is not effective. So I might have to give this one a break. Let's see if we can change to different brush. I'm going to go a little bit smaller. Y'all are going to have to keep me accountable. I'm going to about a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch brush. But that might help us do what we want to do. Actually, I'm going to go back and do another layer of the dress. See if we can lighten that up a little bit. Well, I'm really pleased that my live streaming software is not crashing. That's a good sign. Except I'm starting to pick up junk in my paint because y'all probably can't see it, but the paint is drying so fast that I am picking up dried paint then when it gets wet again from underneath, and that's not cool. Have to change to a different plate, but I'll try something. Not sure if this will work, but we will try it. I start putting some background colors on. Once we get some background on, then it starts to really stand out. She starts to take her form, huh? I can't believe how fast this has come together. I thought I would need to draw it before I could slap some color on the canvas. This is a cool process. I can see it a little. Yeah, it is amazing. Joanna, what you're seeing is the balance of, which I have talked about on the live stream before, but it is the interplay of values. So more than the color of the background I just put on, because now it just looks like a hot mess, but I am playing with values. Like this looked bright, but once I put something around it, then all of a sudden it looks much more bright. So it's all what the colors are actually the tones of color, the lightness and darkness of the color. It's just that our eyes are so trained to notice color that we're like, oh, the yellow. It's like, well, that's actually a higher value than, and this and this are very similar values. The highlights in her face and this are very similar values. And that's why it reads like part of her arm is in the light, this is light points, light, light, dark, because the values are different, not necessarily because the colors are different. Oh, got it. I could see it a little. Yeah, the clumping of the paint, you could see little spots. So that happens. I love acrylics because they dry fast, but in this sort of environment where we already live in a very dry climate, then when it's this hot, they dry. You can see on my palette there's all these spots of dry paint, and I can't really put other paint on top of it to mix because then it peels off and then you get the little edges. Like this is still a little wet, but even that is dry. If I scrape my finger off, it'll come, but it comes off in little, like, that's what's getting into the actual paint. It's too hot. Yeah, we're not used to it up here, are we? But it is going to cool down. I think Wednesday we get into the 70s for the high, so we will survive, I guess. But let me tell you, when I build my place, I am putting in central air, even if I only use it like 2 days a year. Yes, I'm spraying it. I have a little water bottle here, and I'm spray the palette. That keeps the paint a little bit wetter. What I want to do, I may have to switch out my palette. I was trying to wait as long as possible, but I may have to do it. Yeah, it must be the heat or something I'm doing because this paintbrush is starting to split as well. So there must be something going on. I'm not sure. Okay, I want to... Oh, actually that works. Sometimes you do something and you're like, oh, okay. I took art lessons along and enjoyed it so much, but we had to draw the picture first. Yeah, the thing is, it's hard because like one of the fundamental elements of painting is drawing. But for me, the style of painting I'm doing specifically with this, what I did at the beginning with kind of the brown outlines of just like rough, that was the drawing part to me. That was, okay, let me draw this, and I drew the basic, and then very quickly I jumped into, okay, let me focus on lights and shadows and light. So that's kind of what was going on in my head. Okay, so now I want to take a little bit of I agree. If I had to draw, like drawing, if I were in art school and had to take it, I mean, I'm sure I would get better at drawing, but if someone just sits me down and is like, okay, you have to draw this, and here's some charcoal and some pencil, like, that is intimidating to me because, and maybe it's the same for you, you're right, it's not as fun. Where this, I can draw anything, and it's like, oh, if I, like, oh, I messed up, I just paint over it, and I paint a different, I adjust as I go. That's the part I like about painting. And in oils, it's even easier because they don't dry for days, and you can blend things so much longer. And so once I explore oils, I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, here, even if I mess up, like even now, I'm like, I don't know what I'm really doing. But if I mess up, then I just paint over it. Like, and I did that with those of you that were here for the puppy, like I did the puppy, his nose was off, his eyes were off, and I was like, okay, let me just redo it. And you adjust. Once I got the right angle, then it was like, oh, okay, this is correct. And again, it's a matter of I'm looking more at values. That's why you're like, why is he putting that color there? Because I'm not really looking at the color. I mean, I am a little bit, but I'm like, can I get the values correct? Because once I get the values correct, then I can dial in can definitely dial in the colors. Here's another little pro tip. Not pro tip because I'm not really a pro. If you want to paint fingers or like features, paint the shadow between them. Don't actually paint the fingers or the features. I have to go back and adjust this, obviously, but that's a little tip that I did that I learned actually from a pencil artist, was watching him paint features. Now I'm just trying to focus on planes of the face. And I use my brush strokes to help me hone that in. And we'll just keep messing with this until the little girl emerges. It's almost like almost like a sculptor. You keep sculpting, except with sculpture, if you make one bad chisel, you can't paint over it, or you can't put the stone back. That's why, especially the old, like, Raphael and Michelangelo and those that were, it's like, wow, they are amazing because they could sculpt and see in their mind before they did it, and they could make it work, come out correct. It's like, man. Again, as I'm painting these, I'm thinking, where is the light striking? And I'm only using my reference for this kind of reference. But the light strikes across the top of her hands. There's some reflected light back here. The light strikes on the front of her arm. Because if I can find the right place where the light strikes, the rest falls into place. And it gives you that feeling of form. Or three-dimensional form, at least. I have a song in my head and it won't go away, which is not a bad thing, but ooh. Nope, don't want that there. Could start putting it there, though, because it's reading very green. All right, we're almost an hour in now. We have to really start honing this. Oh, I wish I had rats. Wish I had taken, I was going to take progress photos. But we're pretty far in. But that's all right. Let's see. Let's play around with, see if we can get this correct the first time. Probably not, but you never know. We're going to mix a dark, pretty dark color. I'm going to add just a little bit of white. Raise the chroma a little bit. Okay. We're going to come in here and try. Try to. Nope, didn't work. That's okay. We will mix a new color and try again. I'm just going to keep sculpting. let's at least clear what it is, or who she is. I don't like this flower up there. I don't like the petals. So you change it. We'll fix it, hopefully. All right, so let's go back. Now that this is dried some more, let's go back to try to oh, there's really bright. Okay. So this is across the challenge here is going to be, one of the challenges is going to be figuring out a way to make the planes of her face really soft, and because otherwise she'll look like a miniature grown woman. And that's not what we're going for. Hey there, Bob G. Good to have you. Thanks for stopping in. Yes, I made a mistake earlier this afternoon when I told you it was the girl kissing the horse. I have one of her kissing the horse, but this was a better composition, and I forgot I had chosen this one. So it's the little girl smelling the flowers. Hey there, Sydney. So good to see you and hear from you. I hope life is treating you well. It's been years, my friend, years. You'll have to drop me a note sometime and let me know how things are for you. What's going on in your life? Would love to hear all the adventures you are on, my friend. Y'all, Sydney was one of the very first students I taught in my entrepreneurship class. So we have history, even though it wasn't a history class. Oh, that is very kind of you. Well, you guys were the most impactful class for me because I was, much like painting, learning what I was doing, and y'all hung in there with me as I learned to navigate those ASMSA waters. Of course, weren't we all kind of in the same boat? I mean, you guys were in high school, but everybody's just trying to figure it out, right? So some of us are just a little bit older trying to do it. But I saw Drew something come up in my Instagram. Drew posted something, or Andrew, recently, and I hadn't heard or seen from him. I haven't kept up with Gracie or Camille either, other than I see them periodically. Camille periodically likes something on somebody's Instagram, but I don't. We're not connected, so I don't. We are on LinkedIn, but anywho, yeah. Memories, memories. Okay. I got to keep lightening this up because it dries so dark that then she ends up looking like she's got a horrible spray tan. This poor little girl. Oh, that didn't want that there. Oh well. Let's see what we can do. Figured out the perfect blend, y'all. Raw sienna, a little raw sienna, and just regular white. Raw sienna gives you a little bit of enough of a rosy color to give us the skin. Okay, we need to wrap this up in the next half hour or so. So we need to start really determining which features we want to stand out. We'll give her a reverse tan. Needs to be darker, closer to the hair. Yeah, I agree. Agreed. Need to be darker, closer to the hair. The ear is darker. Yes, I'm going to go in. I'm just trying to get the location, honestly, of the ear correct. It should be in line. The top of the ear should be in line with the eyebrow. So I think we're getting it. But I need to, yeah, go in, like you said, with some darker tones And the thing is, it's always relatively easier to go darker than it is to go lighter. So I'm trying to hold off a little bit. But you are correct. Absolutely correct. So I need to figure out where to put these little... whoa. This is a mess, but we'll get there. Notice how this color here is the same as this color here. Joanna, if you're still around, this is what I was talking about when I was talking about values. So this color on her face, because it's up against the light, looks dark, but it's actually the same as this color up here, which is really bizarre. Because if I hadn't just painted it, I wouldn't believe it. I'm like, no. Let's see, when I put it there, it's the same color there. So bizarre. And it's the color I'm mixing right here. Now I'm lightening it up. But I want to put a little of this, if I can, a little yellow ochre in. Coming back to me. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, that's the other thing about painting that's different than drawing to me, is until you put like a color on the palette or on the canvas next to the color it's going to be on, you just don't really know. It's like, I don't know how this will... Oh, see, this is going to look super yellow, but unless you do it, you just don't know what the outcome is going to be. I just realized another little thing. I'm going to try to correct it. Might have to use a little brush for this one, but it's definitely, yeah, I think I'm going to use a little brush because it is her eyelashes actually, it's actually, there, I'll zoom in so you can see. So her eyelashes, they'll dry really dark, so I need to probably lighten them up a little bit. Oh, no, maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't mess with them. That's going to mess it up. Yeah, at least creating it for sure. I don't, yeah, my brain is not anywhere else right now. It's absolutely right here. I think that's why, and one of the reasons I enjoy it now that you bring that up, because it is almost like a form of, for me, like a creative meditation, because it forces me to focus exactly on what I'm doing in front of me and nothing else. So there's not able to be thinking about, or not effectively thinking about anything else. No mistake. Only happy accidents, right? That's what Bob Ross says. And he's the OG, so there's only happy accidents, Bob Ross. I almost said Bob G. Bob Ross. I'm not sure if this is helping or hurting. We will see. It's kind of too yellow. I wish I could. I'm going to zoom back out so y'all can see the whole. Yeah, that's turning her really yellow, isn't it? Ooh. Let's take some of that out. Ooh. Still. Let's see. Let's not tone that down a little bit. Put some blue into that. So she is not let's see if I can do this correctly. Oh, almost dropped my brush, or I did drop my brush. Let's see if we can get her ear figured out. I just need the suggestion of it there. I think I want to do this. Lighten it, I think. Nope. I need actually. Can't get this right, y'all. It's driving me crazy. We have half an hour to get this. Well, we don't have to get it done, but it would be nice. I think I just overpainted that. Oh, no. So frustrating. These little details are what make it, though. I have to also remind myself that this is my first time. I've never painted a human being. So it's okay. Hey there, Shirley. We're just about to wrap this one up. A little bit. Oh, that makes it look like she has makeup on. We're getting there. I think we're getting there, y'all. I think we're getting there. I'm going to go back to this. Just a little bit. Tiny bit of yellow. think that's... She needs more red tones in her face. Yeah, oh, you're right. It's hard because the... yeah. Because the reference photo is really red saturated. But I've cooled down... Yeah, I may have to work on her some more because I've cooled down the whole painting overall. But I'm not sure if I want it to stay cool. I think you're right. She needs some more shape in her face, actually. Doesn't she? Yeah, I think I'm not going to rush this one. I like the cool colors, but I think she does need some, like, some specifically right in there around her eyes, because this is all very similar tone-wise. Like, it's all that kind of orangish, fleshy color. But, okay. This is where we can, hopefully, if we don't get the... we can carve around. Yes, absolutely. This is absolutely true. This is the point where we can really use the background to sculpt her a little bit. I don't like this background as much as the other one for the puppy, but we can always come back to it. Maybe just cutting up some of that. Yeah, that's all right. Okay, what can I do in the next 10 minutes that would make a dramatic difference? Think. Oh, I got overspray on my leg and it feels really nice because it's so hot. Probably go downstairs and be like, oh my goodness, the rest of my house feels so warm or so cool because I've been up here in this 90+ degree room for so long. But I'm just grateful my computer and phone didn't die. I don't think her. I mean, this is a cute little girl. If you saw this, you'd be like, oh, okay, that works. But Um, but the reference, I think her angles are off, and I think I just messed it up worse. Yeah, she needs a chin. Her head is tilted too high up. It's not as far down. Which is okay, especially for a first attempt, but it's like, okay, now I'm not sure if that is enough. I probably do just need to step away from this for a day or two. Because I can't really tell. Yeah. All right. I think I have to quit for now because, number one, our time is out. But also I need some space. And I really need this paint to dry so that I can see, because it will dry darker and then it will look probably more strange than it does because she'll look really brown or really orange or something. So we will pause it there, but I am not displeased with the first attempt. I'll turn you guys back here so that I can move this camera back without making everybody ill. Then we'll turn it to face level. Whoops. All right. Without tripping on things, let's see. Okay, we'll go back here. So this is her right now as it is. I'm not displeased, like I said, but I think we can do better. I can keep working on this, but I do like this style. I like the kind of looser style that we did with the puppy as well as with this. It's a little more emotive, maybe a little more impressionistic, modern impressionistic style. Not as defined as if I were trying to paint this actual photo. So I like that artistically. I like it also capacity-wise because it allows me to develop better and better drawing skills, color, working with colors, mixing colors, all of that in a process as I'm developing my ability as a painter. So that is, yeah, I like that. So I'm going to keep working on some of these. I put about 3 hours last night in on this one. This one we started several weeks, probably months ago as well. Just refining. I redid this almost the whole sky, but it's coming along. It's really pretty. So I'll keep working on this one, and it's almost there. I think I'm just going to put some additional dark clouds up here to really draw the eye down here, because there's like 2 focal points right now. But I'll keep working on that, finish that, and then I have several others piled up here from previous live streams. Anyway, all that to say, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for hanging out and watching my process, watching me kind of flub my way through some of this. It's been a pleasure. It's been so fun. Thanks for all of you who watched. Those of you who engaged with comments, I always appreciate that. It gives me something to also engage with as I paint. So appreciate you. I will be here next Monday, same time. Hopefully we will start to cool down on Mondays. It won't be like hottest day of the week Monday. It's been the last 2 weeks. So hopefully next week will be a little bit cooler, but we'll see. It is that time of year. And yeah, Monday, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And if you want to see the finalized paintings that I do throughout the week with progress photos, be sure to check out my Instagram. Until next week, I will see you all. You have a great night, and I'll catch you next time.